Baruch Hashem, we both have the schus, the privilege, the duty. Sorry. We both have the privilege, the duty of receiving calls, dealing with families, different challenges. Shmiel is more into the halacha aspect, Rav, Adain. So we're going to try and share with Olam a little bit some of the questions, frequently asked questions, and some of the answers, hopefully. Shmiel.
I should speak English or versteht Yiddish? Better English? English. Okay, if it's not my first language, Rabbi Yitzchok will help me. Yeah? Okay. A lot of people ask me the Shabbos, what if a child is a Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia? He drives a car, and if he's considered like a Machal Shabbos, yeah, if the yain is yain nesach, if he cooks the meals is special akim, or he's not considered like a Machal Shabbos, like a Gemara sagt, somebody is a Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia, Gemara sagt, it's like a Nachri. So this is the question I got from a few people. Rabbi Yitzchok, should I answer?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
The question is, when somebody is Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia, in halacha, it's considered like a goy. When he touches wine, it's yain nesach. If he cooks, it's special akim. So the question is, if such a kid is Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia, if this is considered like, if he's considered like a yid, or is considered, yeah? So the answer is, he's considered like a yid, 100%. He is not considered like a Machal Shabbos, and we shouldn't watch the wine. You don't have to buy yain mevushal. It can be normal wine. It's not considered like a goy. And when he cooks, you allowed to let him cook in the house. It's not considered la bishul akim. And the reason why, it's very pashut. Now Rabbi Yitzchok wrote a sefer. You saw the sefer? Tinik shenishba. And the Gemara is such a concept of a tinik shenishba. Tinik shenishba means a child who was born by goyim, and he's a tinik shenishba by noakim. Today, it's a tinik shenishbar. The tinik was broken. The people who were by the shir from Reb Shimon Russell a few minutes ago, he tried to explain what happened to this child when he was young. Or he was Chalila abused, molested, or he didn't fit in the system. And every day he went to school, he was broken. So it's a tinik shenishbar. It's not a pshat that somebody make up his mind. From now on, I don't want to keep the Torah. I want to be a Machal Shabbos. Like he has a choice. He made up his mind. I want to be Machal Shabbos. Chaz v'sholem. Everyone knows that these children, they don't want to be Machal Shabbos, and they don't want to do Averis. This is 100%. They are nishbar. It comes from an old sickness. Chaz v'sholem, to say that these children are sick. I got a lot of critic when I said it. A lot of these children had, I said a lot of shurim on the WhatsApp. It was called, I don't remember now, Chizik Yilodim. Maybe you heard it. But I heard a lot of critic from a lot of these children. Why do you say we are sick? We're not sick. I'm not saying they're sick. They're smart, and they're not sick. But you understand what I mean to say? It comes from Nishbar. They were broken. The system broke them. And therefore, it turned down what they are not Shomer Shabbos. But Chaz v'sholem, to say they are Machal Shabbos, they're not Yidden. They are Yidden. You're supposed to give tzedakah for them. It's not the pshat of Machal Shabbos, and you don't give tzedakah for them because you're not supposed to give tzedakah for Machal Shabbos. No, they are not considered like a Machal Shabbos. And I want to say, in Hilchas Tzedakah, you have to give for this child tzedakah more than every tzedakah in the whole world. Like when a father like has such a child and it costs him, let's say, $1,000 a month, and he can't give tzedakah because the whole tzedakah goes for this child. So in halacha, in Shulchan Aruch says that you have to give tzedakah for your family before you give tzedakah for other people. Yeah, right, Rabbi Yitzchok, you ask him? So we have to try to give tzedakah for this child, and we makayim the mitzvah that in this brings out a gewaltige schus in Shemayim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you are taking care of your children, I will take care of my children. So we should know that they are Yidden, and we have to be mechazik them.
The Gemara says in a few places that dysfunction caused by being broken is what purifies the kids. It's pure innocence after that. Shvirosai zuhi tarosai. There's only one thing that makes somebody tahir, completely tahir. The more dysfunctional you are, the less you're going to be judged for what you're doing. Next question.
Other question, what came in a lot, that I deal with my children the way of twisting parenting. Yeah, we all know about it. But my father, my mother, my shver, my shviger, they are against it. And they don't want I should go this way. And I always have a fight with them. They want, and always when this einikel comes, they are doing differently the way we are dealing with it. So the question is, I'm responsible that my father doesn't want I should go this way. I have to go a different way because my father told me I should go a different way. Or I have to do what I feel is the good thing for the child. Yeah, good question.
Difficult one.
I should answer? Or you?
Yeah, no. You're doing good.
Yeah, the answer is that kibbud avoim doesn't exist here. The kibbud avoim means, Shulchan Aruch says, kibbud avoim means when your father, your mother don't have what to eat, you have to make they should have what to eat. And also with the money from them. It's not from my money. In Shulchan Aruch is the psak halach is meshel av. You have to the money. Your father wants I should buy him a pie pizza. He should give me the $10. I will go buy it to him. But I have to serve them food. But the lifestyle I want to live, even like I want to work, I want to have a type of a job. And my father is telling me, I don't want you should do this job. In halacha, you're not supposed to listen to him. I like this job, I can make money. Halacha, you can say for your father, I want to do this job. You shouldn't be a mechitziv, you shouldn't tell him that that's none of your business. You shouldn't, al yister as devariv, you shouldn't answer with chutzpah, but you don't have to listen to him. When it comes to this type of children, and you chose this way because you see that this is the way you have to deal with the children, you shouldn't listen to your parents. Even your parents, they are big tzaddikim, even rabbonim, even, don't listen to them. It doesn't have to do with kibbud avoim. And then we have to know that first we shouldn't listen to them, and then we have to know that it's a chesaron from our parents that are saying us what to do. Again, I'm trying to bring out, we should make up, it doesn't have to do with kibbud avoim. And the second thing, we have to know that they are not right. Our parents are not right to mixing in our business. That means, what's negaya for us, Be'ez Hashem, we will be grandparents. It's not our business how our children are dealing with their children. It's not our mission. Everybody has children. Everybody has to deal with their children. It's not a nafkemina for the zayde, for the babi, how the eniklach are. It's not their business. It's the business from the parents. So I mean to say, we have to understand that when you don't listen to them, it's not stam. It's not negay kibbud avoim. I mean to say they are wrong. They are wrong to why they say opinions, how we should deal with our children. So we shouldn't feel bad. I'm not listening to my father, to my zaydi, to my shver, to my shviger. No, it's none of them of their business. So therefore, we have to know, we have to do the thing what we think that's right. I said yesterday, a lot of times it comes in sveikis. Maybe we are going the wrong way. Who said that's the right way? I explained it yesterday that it doesn't exist a thing in this world we should do and we shouldn't have sveikis. This is the way it goes. Every good way has misnagdim. You chose this way, you have to go with this way, and we have to say it could be it's not the right way, but this is the way I chose. My father doesn't want us to go this way, but that's the way I chose, even it could be it's the wrong way. Because that's the way I chose to want to go. Mascom?
Yeah. I'll tell you a question that I was asked many times, and it's a very sensitive one, but it's playing on all our hearts. We all went through years with our kids, with our children, our challenged and challenging teenagers, and first we go through the wars, and then Baruch Hashem we get to some place where it looks like there's hope, at least direction, and we get a mahalach, we get trained, and Baruch Hashem, there's no more wars in the house, the child is becoming more functional, he's still not keeping anything, and we're being told, patience, keep loving them, keep twisting, and it will happen. Is that true? Yes, completely. Is there anything that we can do to, parents often feel, okay, right, I've done it right now, he's healthier, but we want him to be from. We have a goal. Is there nothing we can do? Like, everything's fine. Everyone loves you. The pain is gone. You're even going to a therapist, and you're even working through your, the old stuff. But, you're still not keeping Shabbos. You're still not doing anything. How do we move them on to the next stage? So I'll mention a few points, but very bekit, so we have to keep them in mind. Number one, there's an integral difference between a goal, between a she'ifa and a tzipiyah, between a destination, a goal, and an expectation. A goal is something that you strive for, not necessarily somewhere you have to reach. An expectation is something that you expect to happen. When you don't reach your goal, that's okay. But if your expectations get let down, then you start feeling failure. Nobody fails when they don't reach their goal, but you fail when your expectations are not met. So we have to know, is Yiddishkeit a goal, or is it an expectation? The answer is both. But keep that in mind. How do we know? For example, we're all trying to work on ourselves in our own lives, and it's nothing to do with here, nothing to do with challenged teenagers. We're all on a journey. How do I know if the point I'm trying to get to is a realistic expectation or a far-sighted goal? The answer is try. Try it once, try it twice, try it 3 times. If it usually works, then keep it as an expectation and just keep moving. Keep moving and you'll keep falling, and that's the way it goes. If it's just not happening, you can keep it as a goal, but leave it. It's not an expectation anymore. That's number one. So whatever we're going to discuss, if with your child, you're trying to bring him from where he is now to the next stage, whatever you've marked it to be, you can try. We'll soon see how. You can try. If it doesn't work, let go. If it becomes an expectation instead of a goal, and it leads to rejection and failure, we're going to be plummeting straight down. Number 2, it's very important to know the difference between a Jew, Judaism, and a Jewish culture. And if we get those confused, then we're going to be completely out. And much of what's happened that's caused these kids to go down is because we've got that confused. It's like, if there's something about Judaism I'm not keeping, that means I'm less of a Jew. Or if there's something about the Jewish culture, like wearing a hat and jacket, like having long hairs, like not eating gebrockt, or, there's many examples.
Spitzel.
The different levels of head covering for the men and the women. It's like, is that to do with being a Jew? Is it to do with Judaism? Or is it a part or a section of the Jewish culture? And we must not get that confused. Who he is as a Jew is number one. We discussed it over the weekend. You're supposed to love him for being a Jew, and nothing he does or doesn't do can affect that. He's not less of a Jew or more of a Jew than Moshe Rabbeinu, whether he's keeping mitzvahs or not keeping mitzvahs. What is the difference with the mitzvahs? It's Judaism. Okay, but are you getting confused between Judaism and a culture? And just to keep it broad, but don't go easy with, don't pull me on the word. Minhagim, chumras, right? And there are many chumras and minhagim which are brought in Shulchan Aruch. Waiting 6 hours between meat and milk, is that Judaism or is that a culture? So it's very important to know. If we would be speaking to a forum of yeshiva bachrim, we would say it's Judaism. It's a halacha. It might be a chumrah. The shach says the Yerushalayim should do it. It's your minig. You've always done it. There's a problem of nedarim. So it's true. That means it could be Judaism. But in essence, is it Judaism? Maybe not. The Shulchan Aruch quotes that there's all sorts of people and minhagim who wait 3 hours, who wait 1 hour. So I don't know if you heard this, I think I said over this week, where there was a boy who was eating on Yom Kippur because he had written himself off. He said, I was the biggest Avarian in the world, so not eating on Yom Kippur wouldn't have made a difference. And I asked him, tell me about the Averis you did that wrote you off. He said, well, I just couldn't wait more than 5 and a bit hours. And so in his mind, that's Judaism. So I'm not, and Judaism and being a Jew, Bichlal, got confused. So if I'm not waiting the 6 hours, then I'm not keeping Judaism. If I'm not keeping Judaism, then I'm no association to being a Jew, and everything went out the window. And then I took a step back and says, number one, you're a Jew without Judaism. Number two, this has nothing to do with Judaism. It's a minig. And it's a good one, and it's something which might be a goal, but let's put things into perspective. Dain Weiss, when I was learning for Smicha, and I was once speaking to one of the very close Talmidim of the Minchas Yitzchok, a famous Pesach of the last generation. And his Talmud told me, you're going into Hirah now. First and foremost, any shaila that comes up to you, make sure you're crystal clear. Is this a Doraisa? Is it a Rabbanon? Is it a Gemara? Is it Go'inim? Is it Rishonim? Is it a Chumrah? Is it across the board? Is it a Minig? Now, I'm not expecting all of you to do that. You have Rabbanim for that. You have husbands or Chavrusas, or you've got to ask the people you have to ask. But make sure that we're not confusing it, because if we confuse it, these kids are going to get confused. And if we let's take the culture in its more extreme, wearing payas, longer payas, wearing every person in their minig, what's called long, what's called payas. But is having long payas, is wearing a hat and jacket, is that Yiddishkeit? Is that religion? It's definitely not religion. Is it nice? Maybe. We're not discussing that now. Is there any good reason that all people that belong to a certain culture and society all dress the same way? Maybe. It's not what we're here for. But is it Judaism? No. And if you put the same stress on how could you go and daven without a hat on, the same stress as how could you be Mechalel Shabbos, somebody is going to tell him one day that wearing a hat and jacket, that's not Yiddishkeit. So he's going to say, so no, it's Shabbos. Because it's all become blended. And we're going to confuse the kid, and not everybody can stick with every culture. Whether it's a lekatchil or b'diavad, whether it's supposed to be that way or not, is irrelevant. Not every Jew is expected, and that's talking about healthy Jews. All of us healthy people are expected to keep Yiddishkeit, Judaism, to the last dot. Are we all expected to conform to a specific culture? Not necessarily. You have to keep Shulchan Aruch, but do you have to walk around in the heat of the summer with a hat and jacket? It might be a nice thing to do, it might be stupid. It's certainly not Yiddishkeit. The first Avera in the world, the Chet of Adam Rishon, the Ovos Jabnosn in Perek Aleph says that the Chet was, Hashem said, don't eat it. Don't eat from the tree. Not touching the tree is a wonderful thing. It's a chumrah, it's a harchoka, it will protect you. But that got blended, right? And she said, Hashem told me I'm not allowed to touch the tree. So the snake pushed her and said, you touched the tree, nothing happened. And then we got blended between touching the tree and eating the tree, and before we knew it, she was eating from the tree. Right? And that's what the Mishnah says, make sure you know what's a chumrah. You can take on all the chumras you want, but make sure you know it's a chumrah. And make sure you don't blend it. And I'll come to another point. We've all been trained. Sorry? Yeah, I'm saying.
Not really a question for comment. I didn't experience that from Rabbanim or teachers. I was from a young age at 5 years old when I became strong. Dragged my family along with me, and then as I was getting married and all this, to not experience what you just said is very beautiful. And then I didn't know how to do that to my kids, and it's just I'm happy to hear this, and I hope that all the Rabbanim are going to start separating between minhagim, chumras, and basics, especially in the law of marriage.
It's very important.
But the main reason why you brought that up was about when parents want to see the next step.
That's right. So I'm going to come to that now. Right. So that's when it comes to goals and expectations, try and focus your expectations not on being the Jew, because it's irrelevant, and not on the culture. The first thing we have to do is the basics in Yiddishkeit. And if you don't know what Yiddishkeit is, ask your Rav. Find out what the first thing to work on is. Somebody came to Rav Shach and said, I work in Kirov, and this kid who's Baruch Hashem coming closer, he's happy to take on one thing. One thing, it doesn't matter what. One thing I'm happy to do. What should we tell him to do? That's a question for a Gadol or a question for a Rav. Obviously, even let's assume that we know, everything we've discussed and we're going for the basics. So what's now the basics of the basics? Where are we going with this? It's a question you should ask a Rav. It depends on the circumstances. Just it's interesting to know, what did Rav Shach answer? And I'm not saying that you should do this halacha l'maisa. I'm not giving you a psak. But it's just the insight of a Gadol. He said to them, make sure that the hechsherim are good. You should keep macholos asuras, kashrus. I would have thought Shabbos, so he's not going to eat it. It's not going to be 100% kosher. No, he's being mechalos Shabbos. He's being over on the isurim of Gilui Aroyos. He's doing lots of serious averos. So kashrus, so that will come later. So they asked Rav Shach, why did you pick that? So Rav Shach says that the Gemara says in Yuma Daf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph, that when somebody eats macholos asuros, then his brain gets a bit messed up, right? The term the Gemara uses is timtum hamoyach, right? V'nitmeisem bom v'nitamtem bom. In English, they translated it as contaminated. It's the same word. It contaminates the brain. It's called timtum. It says if his brain is contaminated with macholos asuros, nothing's going to move forward. We ain't going anywhere. First, let him eat kosher. His brain will get clearer. And once his brain is clearer, he's going to keep Shabbos, he's going to do everything right. And that's what happened. I'm not telling you it's halacha l'maisa, but it's, for those who feel that there's family members that need a bit of clarity, it might be worth focusing on the kashrus a bit more. So once we have our goal...
I just wanted to clarify here that the kids in pain, I believe the first step is to establish a relationship.
Yeah, we're getting there. Right, okay.
Before we...
I'm getting there.
Oh, they'll be better if we make sure that they keep...
No, Chas v'shalom, I'm getting that right now. No, I'm coming to that right now. So, like we just heard, it's very, very important, and the Olim likes to get excited. Oh, we're now, okay, so it's not a goal, it's not an expectation, we're moving on. Most of our kips, of these kids, when we first start out with them, when we first get guidance, they're in pain, they're rebellious, they're angry, and anything to do with Yiddishkeit is going to send them further away. Not a word. When they, by mistake, do something that feels Yiddish, or feels that it conforms with Yiddishkeit, by mistake he left his night couple on or something, don't say a word. Not a word. If he feels that you're appreciating him for something good, religious he's done, it's again kluya b'davar. It's again, you mean you have an agenda, you're trying to makar of me because that's the in thing today, and so I'm now your mitzvah. If you do that, it's terrible. The first thing, and for those who are following over the weekend, there's Ava, there's Kovod. First thing that has to happen is the relationship. He has to feel 100% that you're with him, you're blended with him, irrespective of what he's doing. Nothing. You can be the worst of the worst, and he'll feel on a 100% level, you're with him, you're together. Only after that, when the relationship is so good that number one, he'll do anything he can to retain the relationship. And to keep that relationship, to build the relationship, it's worth his while. Not you keep Shabbos or else. Or it's not, if you don't keep Shabbos, there's somebody bigger than you, stronger than you that can punish you. No, if I want to keep Shabbos, it's because the people are close to me, the relationship is important to me, and I know it means something to them. Till you get to that point that he's happy to sacrifice for the relationship, there's nothing doing. Once the relationship gets to that point, and I would encourage you, don't do this on your own. You're getting guidance wherever you live, either it's over here with the group that we're all part of, or it's going to be your local Rav or coach or whoever it's going to be. Make sure there's somebody with a finger on the pulse and they realize it's time. They're ready. And then it's not about preaching. Generally speaking, don't tell him, I think you're healthy now. Can we cut out all this nonsense? No. But slowly, you'll look, for those who were with us this morning, find the point. There's something that he's keeping. And if you don't find it, you better find it. There's something he's keeping. When you find that point and the relationship is good, now is the time where you can slowly and subtly focus on bringing out that point. Somebody once asked me, I had a 23-year-old kid who was in a terrible situation, dysfunctional home, everything. He calls me up and says, I've been to all the therapists, I've been around the world getting help, nobody could help me. And what makes you think that you can help me? So I said, I don't know why you called me. But he asked me what's on my card. Why should anyone come to you? So I said, listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm actually just a simple Jew. But if you want to know the difference between me and the therapist, I'll make it very clear to you. And again, I'm not talking about all therapists, and there are a tremendous amount of good therapists. But I said to him, generally speaking, when you take the world of therapy on large, he's going to make you become a healthy human. A healthy goy, because that's all he knows. He knows that there's a body. We have Ritzona, we have desires, we have we have our taivas, we have whatever it is. We have our whole makeup, and he's going to try and make that healthy. But there's one component that he's not associating to. You have a neshama. He might be building your guf. You'll become completely healthy, but inside of you, there's a little place inside that's crying out. I'm a neshama, I also need to be coached back to health. I'm starving. He might be putting on all the game, I'm so happy, you have to stay home, I can go out on Shabbos and have fun. No, inside there's a void, a big black void. And if you can't fill that up, you're not going nowhere. So the reason that one has to go to a therapist who's got some association, I'm not talking now about, is he black hat, not black hat, no. He's got to associate and identify with the fact that there's a very strong component inside you called your neshama. And that neshama needs sustenance, health, exactly like the body does. It's got to be done right. Once he's back to the place of he's healthier, the body's there before the soul, the body's healthy, his hormonal system is working right, the whole system is now working right as a person, now find that neshama. And it's somewhere there. If you can't find it, you're failed. Right? Somebody, quite a big therapist in Yerushalayim, called me up and said, I had a case for you. I said, I'm not a therapist. What do you want from me? He says to me, I can't move on with this kid until I find something positive with him. I worked with him for a year. I can't find anything good in him. But I said, I know that after an hour, you'll be past that. And it's nothing to do with me. You just have to ask the right questions, and he'll tell you what it is. So when you find that spark, that Shabbos that he kept, we gave some examples this morning. Even if it's something as stupid as not eating gebroks, but he will come home with his car and they'll say that 2 a.m, but he won't eat gebroks. Whatever it is. And find that point, and then don't say, I can see, Baruch Hashem, soft, you're coming to your senses and you're not eating gebroks. Don't do that. That's not going to work. But if you bring out start by acknowledging, it must have been so hard for you. And I'm so proud of you that in spite of the fact that you're hungry, it was late, you have this minig and you're prepared to be moiseh nefesh for this minig. I think it's amazing. Give a compliment. Don't make it conditional. No, just acknowledge the fact that it was hard for him and that he's got to the point of, wow. And if you really want this to work, to move on, then don't just stop there and say, it must have been hard, I'm so proud of you. Say something about what it shows about him. You're a strong person. You're the man. Right? It shows that you have strength. It shows that even though you're weak and tired, you have the stamina to fight through that and to stand up for what's important to you. Don't tell him, yeah, I don't think it's so important. No, find that point and associate it in his mind, let him associate it to something about himself, not just about something good he's done. Because if it's just, I'm proud of you, you didn't eat gebrocht, okay, so maybe tomorrow I won't eat gebrochts again, which is good. But if you say, wow, that shows that you have strength to overcome struggles, it shows that you're maturing to the point where you have values, you're a person of values, of principles, you're a principled person, oh, so I'm a principled person. It's going to come in 6 months' time, Shabbos, and he's going to remember that, I'm a principled person. Well, if I'm principled, Shabbos is quite important, no? And being a principled person is then going to make him do more and more things because of who I am. And we move forward with that, but make sure that we don't lose sight of the fact that what he's craving for is acceptance, irrespective and not associated to what he's keeping. Make sure that the compliments that you're giving him for who he is, for being the Jew, is 1,000 times more than the compliments he's getting for his Judaism. Don't sidetrack. You spent a year with the guidance here. We only focus on the person. That's amazing. Oh, now we're starting with the gebrochts, so we're going to focus on the gebrochts. No, because you'll lose the Jew while fighting for the Judaism. Make sure that you keep the focus non-stop on the Jew, on the respecting and appreciating him for who he is as a person. And on the backdrop of that, you can slowly say things, compliment, acknowledge the positive things he's doing with Judaism. Anything to do with culture, leave. If he never gets there, you will not have lost your goal. Our goal should be Judaism, not the culture. Let him, so he'll be less Hasidish, so he'll be less Litvish, so he'll be less, heavy. It's okay. Let him come to Gan Eden with Taryag mitzvahs. It's no small feat. What happens if your kid, first of all, I didn't say you should mention the neshama.
Rachnius, too.
I would ask him, just imagine you had a neshama, what would it mean about you? The question, it's never the question. This is not Einstein rediscovering religion. So what's his question? Is he? Yeah, you think so?
It's a question or an answer?
Ask him, what would it mean? What would it mean? Just imagine, okay, forget the proof. Imagine you had a neshama, what would it mean about you? Not what would it be mechai of you. Don't ask him, well, if you had a neshama, okay, I'm right, so I can't explain it to you, but you have a neshama, you're going to go to hell. No. You're not telling him, you're not asking him what's neshama mechai of you. You were trying to get to the emotion, to the place inside him, which is, if I have a neshama, I'm in trouble. Why? Because if I have a neshama, then I have to learn. I can't read. Why? Because God created me dyslexic. And if I have a neshama, I'm going to go to hell because I didn't keep Shabbos for the last year. And my teacher told me that I'm such a failure because I didn't do whatever it is. No one's going to marry me, etc., etc. So having a neshama for him means you're doomed. Right? So the most comfortable place for him is, let's just forget this whole neshama bit, and then I'm safe. There's no neshama, there's no expectations. No expectations, there's no failure. No failure, I'm going to have a happy life. So it's not that he's going on a theological or a philosophical quest for, is there a neshama? We don't have those people around. Right? Ask him, if you had a neshama, what would it mean about you? And if the relationship is good, he'll give you the answer. And that'll be the beginning of it'll be the beginning of your next leg of the journey.
I want to say what Rabbi Yitzchok said before, that this bacher came home, he didn't eat gebroks. I know for a fact, a lot of parents would make a mistake, would say for the child, yeah, I'm very proud of you that you have the strength not to eat gebroks, but gebroks is only a minig. It's better you should teach, you should be Shomer Shabbos. If you have the strength, do a different thing. Why go to a minig from gebroks, right? And this is wrong. Chas v'shalom, never do it. If this child took the minig of gebroks, I don't know why he took that minig, but let's say he took it, be a mechazik for it. Wow, you have such strength, you have such koiches hanefesh, you are a strong guy. Yeah, be a mechazik the strength that you have, but don't try to say that it's better other thing than this. One thing I want to say a different thing that people are asking me to say there. Why we see the children when they come back, they came back, Baruch Hashem. They're showing, like Rabbi said before, they're showing Tarek mitzvahs. They do Tarek mitzvahs. But usually, no one from, like, Kamata Bli Yotzem and Aklal wants to go with the uniform. They don't want to go to Shtreimel, they don't have payas, they don't want to cover the hair, like they want to go with not with hair in the street, but with a sheitel, not covered sheitel, and they don't want to go with they want by the Hasidim we cut the hair, the married woman, so they don't want to cut the hair. The question is why. They always say if they come back, why they don't want to come back all the way. I may answer.
Yeah.
The Torah is very, very poshut. Usually the reason why, one of the reasons, again, like I said yesterday, the Rabbi Shalom create this type of neshamas, and this is the journey of this neshamas. They have to be they have a different journey than us. That's the real reason. But usually the oldest, this type of children are very angry on the system. Understand what I'm saying? It's clear? They're very, very angry on the system. They feel it's foolish, it's not emes, it's sheker. Because why? Because the shtreimel is before Shmiel Shabbos. Yeah, going covered is before any halach in the Torah. That means this is the way this is the way we are being mechinach. That's the way the moisdes. Yeah, that's the way the moisdes are. The message they are giving for the children. If someone goes with shura payas, he's a shegitz. Like somebody told me that in square you say Tehillim Shabbos morning, and he started to be Mechal Shabbos. I asked him why. He told me because I anyway can say Tehillim Shabbos morning because I can say Tehillim Chanshkan Gadol. So was hat es mit Chil Shabbos? It's not the same thing. Not saying Tehillim in the morning Shabbos, so it's the same thing like Chil Shabbos. So that means that they are so angry on the system. Why they put the culture, like he called it before the Torah, that they are so angry they don't want to go back there. So the anger causes them, they shouldn't, and they will never come back. I'm telling you, they will never come back. Why? Because this is not the Torah. They came back to the Torah. They didn't come back to the... We should go with the Levish. Yeah, it's a nice thing. Yeah, we're not going in this. It's a nice thing. Yeah, we should go with the same Levish. Yeah. But the children who are injured, when they come back, they want to come back to Yiddishkeit. They don't want to come back to what causes for them so much pain. That's right?
Yeah, 100%. I would add one point, which is very important. Keep your fingers on the pulse. You might try this. It might work amazing. It might not. It might backfire. You might have triggered him with, this is this religious thing coming back again. And even though everything looks amazing, if he gets triggered, it might mean you've done something wrong. It might mean you haven't done anything wrong. It doesn't mean you have to have done something wrong. Don't do it again. That's the one motto. Don't do what doesn't work. Only do what works. You can try. Life is all about risking. If you don't risk, you don't get anywhere. If it doesn't work, don't think, I'm now on this quest, on this crusade of religion, and I'm not going to stop anywhere. You'll send him right back to where he was. If it doesn't work, call up whoever the coach is, whoever the guide is, whoever it is, call up, ask, I did this. They might say, how dare you do that? So say, well, I heard on a panel that, okay, they'll say, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So say, okay, fine, so you'll do it differently. Whatever it is, if it doesn't work, don't do it again. Seek advice. Maybe it was premature, maybe it was done wrong, maybe it could be done differently, maybe we have to wait a bit longer, whatever it is. Don't get carried away.
I think the challenge sometimes with children in yeshiva, sometimes they're told to do things and they don't understand why they're doing it. And I think the children, in order to get them to maybe be more, is instead of telling them this is somewhere you should go, I think to have a love for why you're doing it and understanding it helps anyone feel that they want to do it. So I think also with kids, sometimes they're rebellious just because their mom is telling them to do something. So I think if you want to get a child to really love Judaism, it's about they understand why they're doing certain mitzvahs, which a lot of times in yeshiva you're more told to do it, but you're not necessarily understanding why you're doing it, which can make you have a rebellious attitude towards doing it.
Right, so that is true on a global level, but don't forget, this son he's not got any reaction for the fact that it's his mother. If he's still at that place, we're not doing any of this. Like we said first, we're not moving forward until the relationship is 100% repaired. His mother has proven to him, with whether you call it with bombs, with whatever mahalach we're using, but you've got to a point where he's crystal clear that my mother loves me and she's not got an agenda and she just wants things to be good for me. That means if there's any rebellion left, then none of this is relevant. Right? That means we've passed that stage. Generally speaking, it's good to understand why we're doing things. We don't have to understand why we're doing things. If the cops stop you because you were speeding and you start asking him, well, why? And, does it not make more sense? Is it not safer to drive faster? It keeps me focused. And, and like the kids, they can all explain to us why marijuana is actually healthy. It can actually help you focus and concentrate and all the other things. Understanding is an excuse. Very few people actually have to understand before they do something. The reason he's not doing it is not because he hasn't understood. If understanding is the answer, send him to somebody who can give him an understanding. Now, I'm all for understanding. Of course, when you have a term in Yiddishkeit, you understand what you're doing. But it was a huge discussion in the Rishonim 1,000 years ago in the commentaries of the Talmud, whether understanding why we're doing things, is that a positive thing or a negative thing? Right? Most held it was negative. This is a culture. We are proud to be part of this culture. If he doesn't understand what being Jewish is giving him and what Judaism is giving him, then there's obviously something innate missing here. Right? But once he's okay being part of this, he doesn't have to understand the small details. Because we do what we do. It doesn't matter why. It's very rare. In the 20 years I've been dealing with these kids, I've very rarely found somebody that the answer made the difference. The explanation made the difference. It wasn't, I didn't understand, so why should I do it? I always ask them the question I said before. If you did it, what would it mean about you? If you did this without understanding, what does it mean about you? So say, what? When you do things without understanding, it means that you're a reject. It means whatever it means, but he will then tell you what he's feeling. And then you'll have what to work with.
I agree, but there's certain mitzvahs that I agree you shouldn't ask. It's a function of faith. But there are certain things that you develop a love for something when you understand the nature of why it's a mitzvah. So it's not something that you're doing because you're told to do it. It's something that you actually understand, and that gives it a longevity with you because it's something that you become connected with. So there are mitzvahs that you shouldn't question, I agree. But there are mitzvahs that when I understood why this is the reason, it made me want to do it and really love doing it.
Right. Can you explain to me why women love flowers? They cost a fortune. It's impossible to choose the right ones. They die almost as soon as you bring them in.
They love flowers. We don't love flowers. We love the fact that our husband went out and got the flowers.
That's right. That's the answer. when being part of religion and being part of Yiddishkeit it's an environment, it's something I belong to, right? I know, right, Hashem, He is my life. He's giving me everything. He is everything to me and for me. And I know that He wants, whether He needs it or not is a philosophical discussion, but He clearly told us He wants us to do something. So if He told us He wants flowers, it means He wants me, and the way He wants me to express that I'm there for Him is by buying Him those flowers, by going out and doing it. Whether I understand why He likes flowers or not, that's not going to make any difference. I'm there to do, because it's important for me. If I knew that my best friend didn't like green, because maybe they were in a car crash on the green lawn, or even if I don't understand why, I won't wear that green, whether it makes sense or not. Why? Because the relationship is such, I want to keep that relationship. And I know that He said that this is what He wants. I don't understand why. So if our relationship with Hashem or with our parents is strong enough, then I want to do the things that make Him happy, even if I don't understand why.
Some little piece of it,
Absolutely.
right? But there are many kids who are still in their journey where they might be somewhat more healed, and my relation with my daughter is, more than 100% MKN. I know that we're very close. I see nothing. There's no Shabbos, there's no kosher, there's no tznius, there are tattoos. If she happens to walk by the house Friday night when we're having a suda, she's hungry, she'll sit down and eat, but I can't compliment the fact that she's having a Shabbos suda because she's really not. She's hungry, she's eating. So can you talk about, and I really want to do this. I want to, move our relationship now to the next level because we have the connection. But I have nothing to compliment that has to do with Judaism. So where am I going from here?
She has a friend?
Barely, and they're all going.
Okay. Would she consider marrying them?
Sure.
Yeah?
She's had Puerto Rican boyfriends.
No. Would she consider marrying them?
I'm sure. She asked me if I would come to her wedding. She did.
Okay. You haven't found a single red line she won't cross? None at all?
I mean, not coming from the Yiddish guy.
Nothing?
She'll say she's a good person.
Yeah, okay. Nothing to do with Yiddishkeit at all? No shirayim? Kibbutz, you don't need to be a Jew in order to respect your mother.
Right.
Who does she blame for all her problems?
She was bullied in school severely, so she blames Jews. She hates Jews.
And why does she hate God?
She doesn't hate God.
Oh no? Why?
We don't have those discussions, to tell you the truth. She's not willing to have them with me. She doesn't say she's an atheist. She's, what's the term? An agnostic. Meaning, like, okay, there was a God, but obviously he wasn't there when I was being hurt, so he's not there for anything else.
She doesn't blame him for being part of it, for allowing it to happen?
She might. I'm not in her therapy sessions. Like, I don't know.
Ask her. Ask her if she thinks it's God that made this all happen.
Okay.
Okay. And then you've got it.
I got what?
You've got the fact that she's so attached to God that the only thing she knows about God is that He's kind. And this is just not making sense. It's a good question. She's got such a strong connection to a loving God that if this had to happen, I can't keep anything because then there is no God. The only God that I can contemplate is a kind one. I wish I was on that madrega. All these people who they leave Yiddishkeit because where was God during the Holocaust? Well, it's amazing. I wish I had that level of emunah. It's all about God. So we don't understand where He was, okay? So now at this point she can't keep because she can't keep. But she's taking all her tzoros and blaming it fairly and squarely on God. So she thinks she can punish God. Okay, so that's just a small mistake. You can't punish God. But, that's a minor detail. But it's all about Hashem, and it's His fault.
I'm pretty sure she likes them. I'm her classmates, I'm teachers who would be away.
And that's why she doesn't keep Shabbos.
That's why she actually wrote about this, and she said, we turned me, a Messianic girl who wanted to do the right thing, into an angry, hurting girl who wants to have nothing to do with the Yitzchok or Jewish people.
The Jewish people understand. There's some of them I also don't want to have anything to do with.
Yeah. To her, it's still the same thing. She's not able to separate them.
Why? And ask her.
We were told not to ask.
Don't ask her.
Not to ask those questions.
We can talk another half an hour. I'm sure you'll find that spark. You'll find that spark, and when you start focusing on it, you'll see she'll start focusing on it. Just asking you questions, and you'll see she'll start moving up.
Can I add something? Sometimes parents can't say it, ask because they're feeling the pain, they're also hurt. Parents together are hurt with the girl's journey.
Right, so that we've discussed. That's the challenge. No, that's something where parents have to unblend.
If parents can ask that first, then they can ask the question.
Correct. But if the relationship is as good as it has to be before we can move on to this stage, they'll be past that. Whilst the kids are triggering the parents, they're not going to get to that level of love and connection. They're not going to get there. Because every time the kid comes in, it's like holding a big banner. You parents, your failures, your rejects, or whatever it is. And all the while that we see that banner of you failed and I'm failing you, the relationship's not going anywhere. The first thing you have to do is say, I'm a good parent, she's a good kid, we have a challenge. And if we need to use emunah and bitachon for that, then so be it. And that's really the only way forward with it. If you look up in the seven steps to bitachon, everyone knows, I'm sure you all know by heart, the 13 Ikrei Emunah, or you should. And on the same token, you've got the 7 levels of bitachon, right? In Chovos Halvavos. When you're living with emunah and bitachon, it will help you through most of this. Ein kol etzev ba'olam lemi shemakir oir oiroi so emes. The Chaznish eloquently wrote, there's no depression and sadness in the world for someone who recognizes the light of the truth. So I would encourage all parents who are going through this, learning them about emunah. Rabbi Victor Miller's got a good book on Shara Bitachon. Focus on emunah and bitachon, and you'll see tremendous change in the house.
Question. A lot of people asked if, let's say, when it comes to make kiddush and she's not dressed sneezik, the aposkim they hold when you close the eyes, it's okay. The aposkim they hold that you have to turn away. So the question is, she came to the Shabbos table and she is by kiddush, and we want to make kiddush, and the father should take the kois in the hand and turn the other side to make sure it will make her feel not comfortable. So the question is, if the father should be meikul, go by the poskim who are meikul in this, or he wants to be machmir. I the child will be ashamed. It's tough luck. It's her problem. Yeah. Was Rabbi Yitzchok? So the answer is that when it comes to a child, Gemara sagt that mitiv sheyapel atzmo the kifshen aweish val yalden pnei chaveru berab. To causing shame for somebody is the biggest aveira. And it's not agadete Gemara, but is a children Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. He says if a person is allowed to be mechal Shabbos, to save a person from not being ashamed. Yeah, so the pshat is it's not stam agadete Gemara. It's a halacha l'maaseh. So when it comes that your daughter will get, if this is the situation, you have to be meikul in every shayla what comes up in Daled Chalke Shulchan Aruch. You have to be meikul. You shouldn't cause pain for this child. That means if the halacha is you should close the eyes. The apos can be held, it's okay. So it's okay. If like you're so machmer Pesach and Brox and you shouldn't, like they are families, they don't put matzah on the table. They only put matzah on a matzah tash, on a plastic, not on the table. And when they eat all the food, they don't eat it with matzah. They are people that have this chumrah. So this kid came to the Pesach, came to the table, and he puts the matzah on the table. And the father wants to scream, Gewalt, Gebrox. No. Gebrox is a minog, a chumrah. It's not halacha. So then you have to close the eyes and you say, okay, I would want to have this chumrah, but now, because I don't want to cause pain for this child, I have to do differently. Also, a lot of times, like there are parents, they have OCD when it comes to kashrus. Like a lot of women have the problem in the kitchen, melechiks, fleischiks. Pesach is a big boogie monster, for a lot of women. So then, now it comes, this child this child comes in and he melechiks, fleischiks, and she gets so like shaked up that she can't deal with the fact. He put the milk on the part of a counter, yeah. So she can't deal with it. So I always say for people who are nervous about the Torah, I always say the Torah. If a person sees that he is nervous from the Torah, that means that this is not the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give us a Torah. It should cause us nervousness. So if somebody sees that he gets nervous from the Torah, that means he has to go for help. People I don't want to go. They help is a thing that it's not made for some people. But we have to understand, if somebody sees that it's causing me pain, the Torah doesn't cause pain. So, if we have this challenge, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the challenge from having such a child, and she has OCD when it comes to kashrus, she immediately needs to go for help, because this child will trigger the OCD much stronger, and then she will not be able to deal with it. So she go for help. There is help for it, and we can get rid of it. And the Torah is a geschmack. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a Torah because it should be a geschmack for us. Not it should cause us chas v'sholem pain. And the same is in other areas. I said an example, but you understand. Yeah?
They once asked the Briskerov. The Briskerov was known to be very stringent in most areas. And when it came to eating on Yom Kippur, he was very quick to say, nobody should eat on Yom Kippur, right? Ask your Rav. But there were people who came in and they got quite quick kula from him. And they once asked him, why are you being makel on Yom Kippur? Why are you taking the lenient line for Yom Kippur? And the Briskerov said, I'm not taking the lenient line for Yom Kippur, I'm taking the chomor, the stringent line in saving lives. And we have to remember that. What you think is a kula in halacha, it's a chumrah in nefashos. We're being stringent in order to do everything, go beyond the letter of the law in order to bring these kids back. We're not compromising on the law for kiruv, whatever it is.
Okay. Chef soll helfen, nach Sache Zluche, soll man sicher dann sehen, nachher bei unseren Kindern. Dann sollen solche Sachen, zu der Gille schleimen, meine Umay.